All right, let's get this party started. Let's jump right in. This is part two, intro number two. Today we want to get into breaking down living the gospel. You know, it's interesting as we go through and we focus on spiritual empowerment from the perspective of detaching from the world, cultivating a personal, private, productive relationship with Source or God, and decoding spiritual downloads, which is what we want to focus on today. The new or the next in the spiritual integration process that allows us to become a specialist inside of our own ecosystem requires us to get to a space where we can operate in this, what I call the seven realms of spiritual consciousness. These realms of spiritual consciousness and spiritual awareness excuse me, allow us to be to operate in a space of what I call, a place of what I call the seven realms of restoration, or seven levels of restoration. Sorry about that. And each one of these levels, which we'll be breaking down more inside the book and the audio program, allows us to be able to establish spiritual, mental, psychological wholeness or wellness to the degree that we're able to over and understand. Excuse me, I gotta give me some water. To the degree that we're able to understand how to bring about this restoration, because it's a personal process. It's interesting because in the teachings of the red letters of what Jesus said, as well as getting to some of the stuff that's inside of the Nag Hammadi text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, the Gospel of Thomas, the Gospel of Judas, the Book of Enoch, some of the non-canonized texts that delves into and breaks down a deeper level of understanding, where Jesus exposes or talks about being a modern day version or representative or ambassador of himself. In other words, not just following, but actually embodying, becoming the electrical magnetic version of Christ on earth, literally becoming a walking, talking version of Christ. That's what's always talked about inside of the ancient texts. It breaks down how we are able to operate in a manner that allows us to be, for lack of a better term, the vibrational equivalent or the vibrational representative of God on earth. That's what this series, that's what the book, that's what everything is about. It's about my level of awareness and understanding of how I've been able to do that, and how, now remember, we're talking about doing this in a space when you're not supposed to do it, or in a place where you're not supposed to do it. Meaning, being peace in the midst of chaos. That is the hallmark. And again, I'm not talking about the peace that comes from the world. I'm talking about true, authentic love of self and love of everyone else. Once we get to this level of awareness where we can literally have this peace of mind. Now, this allows you to interact with people who may not be at the space or the level of awareness where they actually want to interact with you. That's how you know that you've actually evolved and you actually grown to a space or to a place where you are really at a level of awareness where you become the representative of Christ. You are operating in a place where most people can't operate in. You are exhibiting behaviors that are contrary to your position. That's the veritas word. You're able to operate in a space where you can walk in other realms. You literally have awakened. You've decoded the divine. You're here to reclaim the light. You're here to transform your life. And so you have a public life, as we've talked about before. That's version of you. That's the illusion that you present. Then you have this private life, and that's the part of you that's connected to the peaceful part of you, the true higher self. And then there's this whole other secret life. That's the divine identity. That's the true awakened state. That's where we're trying to go. And there's two versions of each one of these realms. There's two versions. There is a public view that is the super saint, and then there's a public view that's the super ain't. Depending on who you're hanging out with, you're either a thug or you're a saint. There's two private versions of you. We have a fleshly and we have a spiritual version. And then there's also two secret versions of you. You have a higher self and you have a lower self. The one that manifests is the one that you feed. And the way that we feed is based upon our need. We all have seed. That's first. And we feed, we water the seed based upon our projected need. But the need, that is the part of you that's being manipulated by the world system. So we watch the television and it transports a vision through this TV. It's an image, but we already have an image. We should have an image in our brain that's the vibrational equivalent of God on earth. But what happens is that image gets distorted. It gets watered down through other channels that we're watching, which allows us to then get into a space where we are practicing what the Bible calls idolatry, where we are trying on different idols. Now, none of this is done by, usually consciously. Most of this is done unconsciously. But when we look at some of the cryptic commands that's given to us by Yahushua or the Hamashiach, when it talks about that we're not supposed to cling, we're in this world, but we're not of this world. The Gospel of Thomas says that we are to become a passerby. The 42nd chapter inside of the Gospel of Thomas talks about becoming a passerby. A passerby means that we are here to live like someone who is in transition. Jesus calls us to transcend, not to escape. And the way that we transcend is to go within. And so this is, especially when you look at it from a Nag Hammadi text, and you look at some of the other ancient texts, it really delves into some of the things that we're going to be talking about to get into decoding the hidden teachings. Because the Bible says, or the Gospel of Thomas states that he who shall find the interpretations of these things, of these words, shall not taste death. The ability to decode and unravel, to walk in peace. There's the book of Sophia that talks about peace be unto you. My peace I give to you. The Bible says the same thing. It talks about the peace that transcends, not the peace that comes from the world, but the peace that comes from God. So we are talking about an emotional state. We're talking about a spiritual download. We're talking about understanding. This is a journey into what I call becoming a cosmic awakener, because we are tapping into something that brings about spiritual liberation. Now, it's interesting because all of this is stuff that we've all heard before. But the thing that really opens my eyes is when we talk about transcending the illusion of the world. This material world that we live in is a distraction. But we all are in this world because we have to participate. We got to pay our bills. We got to live. So how do we be a part of this world without being distracted by the world? That's the goal. The goal is transformation not just conversation. There's a lot of conversation. There's a lot of people who, and these are well-meaning, good people, but this world is a corpse. From the perspective of it's not the vibrational equivalent of source. That's why we got corporation or corporations. So these all caps. This is a corpse. This world, this material realm. This is a low vibration. This is a bad copy of the original frequency, wave, verb, and vibration. And to the degree that we're able to wrap our brain around this, it allows us to transcend. But the only way, my brothers, the only way, my sisters, to transcend is to go within. And that's where the rubber meets the road, because it's almost impossible to go within because of the amount of distractions that limit our ability to go within. And so most people can't go within. They don't have the ability to disconnect from this world. And again, I'm not talking about going out into the woods and living like a monk. I'm not talking about cutting off people and staying into your house and not associating with family and friends and, all the stuff that people do. At this level of awareness, we're talking about the Veritas way. By becoming a spiritual integration specialist. This allows you to create a cocoon, if you will, around you. That allows you to go into places, allows you to talk to people, allows you to interact. This is real world application. What I mean by real world, I mean by people watch you. They may not be saying nothing to you, but people are watching you. Your family, your friends, your frenemies, as I like to call them, your enemies that used to be friends, they are always watching you. Right now, regardless of your social media footprint, your neighbors, your friends, whether you are on social media or not, inside of your community, people are watching you. You are always, I mean, my grandmother used to tell me that all the time. Somebody's always watching you. When you live your life like that, if you live your life, if I had to ask you if you could self-identify, meaning if you could do what Jesus told you to do. Jesus said, the things I have done, you shall do. So when Jesus says, I am the light of the world, that means that you are the light of the world. When Jesus says, no man can go to the Father except by me, what he's saying is that the only way for you to go to the Father is by you, by awakening the inner self. Seek the light within. The Gospel of Thomas says it this way. There is a light that is within a man, and he lights up the whole world. This is the Gospel of Thomas, chapter 24. It's very, very interesting that he who knows himself knows all. That's also found in the Gospel of Thomas. As we enter into this, I'm going to use the word sacred domain. If we were to look at the red letter teachings of Jesus Christ, or Yahushua the HaMashiach, we would find something that is very, very, very different from what's being taught today. Jesus was not looking for followers, he was looking for imitators. The Bible says, be ye imitators of God. You're supposed to imitate God. Now, I don't know what part of the country you're from. I don't know if you are a etymological linguistic. So I practice linguistics using etymology. That just simply means that I over and understand that words create worlds for whatever reason. The word imitate is the act or the action of using something or someone as a model. You're supposed to intentionally. It shouldn't be an accident. You're supposed to intentionally repeat the phrases, mannerisms of a person, place, or thing. Imitate. Be ye imitators of God. And so the inability for us to imitate. We have no problem worshiping, but we have a problem imitating. I mean, not person, we all know. And so it's important that we're supposed to copy the expressions. We're supposed to copy the words. We're supposed to copy the actions of Yahushua the HaMashiach. Not just give lip service. So it is this inability to imitate, to be an ambassador. These are all of the things that we should be engaging in, regardless of what level of awareness we are at, because we're diplomats. We are a representative of heaven on earth. So we're supposed to have this higher vibration, because we have the divine spark. It resides inside of each one of us. There is this light within you. We have this treasure hidden in earthen vessels. That's what it says in the script. But it's difficult to find people. Everybody, I remember, everybody's willing. Everybody talks a good game. And that's great. That's where we all start. But when we're talking about the spiritual integration specialist ecosystem, that word ecosystem is an extremely important word, because what we are doing is we are totally changing the narrative. And it's easy to tell when you've established your own spiritual ecosystem. Because when you establish your own ecosystem, it's a bubble of spiritual life. It contains inside, you contain all of the necessary ingredients for your success. Your own ecosystem. It's your own economic system. It's all mental, though. There are certain spiritual factors inside of, there's a recycling of the flow of energy. It's a recycling of all of the minerals and enzymes and the nutrients that are needed for creating a dynamic and flourishing system. All of the components work together. Your head, your heart, your gut, they all are on the same team. Your spirit, you're a possession of a soul, but you live in a body. They all have the same agenda. You lose sight of, like we talked about in part one, of all of their worldly attributes and characteristics. They're there. You have them. You got money, you got cars, houses, but that's not the reason that you wake up in the morning. As we embrace more artificial intelligence, and as AI continue to grow, everybody's going to be unemployed. So once the robotics come online that they already got out, it's going to replace everything that everybody does. So what do you do already? We got all this time and you got nothing to do. You have no meaning, no reason. So we have to come up with a new meaning and a new reason for living. Right now, your reason for doing everything that you do is to make money. To do what? Pay for your bills. Why? Your bills don't pay themselves. They just keep coming every month. Well, what happens when those bills go away? Now, what do I mean go away? Well, eventually, we're going to get off fossil fuel. Eventually, you can create enough. Then this is scientifically proven. Elon Musk talks about this a lot. You go to just Google some of his talks. The state of Texas produces enough solar energy in one day to power the whole world for a year. Let that sink in for a moment. Because there's some solar farm. Supposedly my boy got out there. Or in the video he says that it could. Meaning you could set up 25, 50 acres, whatever it is, with solar panels. The amount of sunlight that hits those solar panels can power every house, car, everything on the planet. That is one state. Or one amount of, say 50 acres or whatever. What's the point? The point is we really don't have an energy problem. Now everybody knows that. Tesla created free energy and they unalived him before it could come out. Everybody knows the story of Tesla, Westinghouse. He asked him, can I put a meter on it? Tesla was like, no, you can't put a meter on it because it's free energy. Now, for the people that are really, really high speed, your skin is an antenna. That's why they're coming up with technology just like tattoos. You're not supposed to do that because it messes up the way by which your skin transmutes energy the same way plants go through photosynthesis and turn sunlight into chlorophyll, which is energy. Well, your skin does the same thing. So all of this Wi-Fi technology is just reverse engineered skinology, for lack of a better term. But again, I digress. Because if you ask the average how to keep it on that, they're going to think that you've been smoking some or drinking some purple Kool-Aid. For whatever reason, technology seems to escape, like black body physics and just understanding melanin, basic science or basic biology. For whatever reasons, that really escapes. I get it because most of our is too busy on the treadmill to actually do some research into the deeper aspects of life and life more abundantly. So the S.I.S.E. intermediate program delves into Jesus' life. Specifically, what is it that Jesus taught if you just look at what Jesus said? Now, I'm not discounting what other people said. I just want to highlight, since the book is about him, at least that's what I thought. I have no problems with Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, Paul, none of this. But the book is about Yahushua the Hamashiach. I mean, last I checked. There's a book in the ancient text written by Jesus. How come that book didn't make it into the Bible? It's interesting to me that if you write in my bio, whatever I said about myself should be in the Bible if the book is about me. If I transition and you write my bio, stuff like what I'm talking about right now should be in the bio. The bio should not be your opinion of me. The bio should be my words that I said about how I think and what I believe. I mean, I'm just a country boy from Texas, but please correct me if I'm wrong. If you're writing a book about somebody, should not the words of that somebody be in the book? I mean, I'm asking for a friend. So there's 6 things that Jesus said that's not in the book. I'm going to be breaking it down in this series. Now, your reverend, your doctor, your bishop, especially if he's a black man or a black-wombed man or a melanated individual, don't know shit about what I'm talking about. Now, that's not his fault. The book stuff he's talking about, probably didn't research it. Him, her, or itself. But regardless of the color of your skin, you're designed by God to go within. So Jesus said, this world is a stage. You're supposed to walk through it as light. This is called walking in the Spirit. The number one, the most important thing, Jesus says, I am the light of the world. Since Jesus is the firstborn of many brothers, he's the first of Ephesians 2, a new man. We don't know what we shall be, but we shall be like him. It's in the book. I actually read it. So whatever he was, we are too. But I digress. These things I've never heard taught. This is 2025. We're going into 2026. I've never heard it taught over the pulpit. What? I am the light of the world. Have you heard that taught over the pulpit? I heard Jesus is the light of the world. But Jesus says immediately after that in John 8:12, whoever follows me will not walk in darkness, but will have the light of the world also. For some reason or other, that second half, like the scripture that says, which is the second part of the seven T's that I'll be breaking down in this series. Can't give you all seven because then there's no need to take the series, but which is one I've talked about for years. Even Kanye, when Kanye said, I am a God, people lost their minds. Even though the Bible says it in the Old Testament and the New Testament, in the book of Psalms and the book of John, do you not know, is it not said in your scriptures that ye are gods? Little g's. And the big g's. Little g. So when I say that I am a little g, people can't self-identify as a little g. Since you self-identify as a little d instead of a little g, thus a lack of mental, remember, the way that you know that you're one with God is you got peace. I'm not talking about this worldly shit. I'm not talking about, I'm not talking about this learned behavior. I'm talking about a earnest desire to leave this physical realm because of the awareness that this physical realm is an illusion. Yeah. Put that in your pipe and smoke that. I mean, not you personally, people you know. Okay, what does that mean though? Well, I like people. I prefer to have a relationship with all my family, all my friends, neighbors, guy that cut me off in traffic, person that's having a bad day. I don't have no problems with people. How come? Ooh, excuse me. Because I realize that we are all the same. I know there's some parts of Kentucky or Oklahoma or even here in Texas that I could go, and Luke and them good old boys, if they caught my black ass out there in their city after dark, in these sundown cities, would probably want to put a rope around my neck and hang my black ass from a tree. That still happens or still exists. There are still cops who want to unalive black folks for whatever reasons. I have no desire to unalive anybody. That could change, but as of right now, no. But there's some people who do, and it's just based upon, it has nothing to do with your content of your character. It's just based upon the color of your skin. Now, there's some black folks out there, I'm sure, that, I don't know none, but they say there's some black folks out there that would love to unalive some white folks. Could be, I don't know. So that disposition is foreign, is Greek, is Aramaic to me. I don't understand. I mean, I do. I understand the psychology behind it. I see how you can work yourself up into a frenzy, depending on what you watch on TV. I get it. Look what's going on, say, with Russia and Ukraine, or what's going on with Israel and Palestine. That stuff been going on for how long? Since 48? That's really before that. What's the point? What's the point? There's always been people unaliving people. And one of the 10 Commandments is thou shalt not kill. Unless I'm reading a different book. But most of the people that do all the killing, they all got that same book. All them good old boys up in Washington, D.C. right now, they all supposedly Christians, whether they're Democrat or Republican. But they will unalive you, or they'll send somebody to unalive you. But they all got the same book. You ever notice that no matter how many different religions are, they all have the same devil? It's interesting that we all fight the same devil with different gods in different books. You ever thought about the number of gods in books? But when you research, the adversary is the same dude. We have one devil. And I don't know how many gods. That devil is a bad dude. If it takes that many gods and they still can't whoop that one devil, I mean, that's my pay. It's a country, but I ask Christian folks, Muslims, I ask everybody. You have problems because what? Well, devil out there, man. Who's the devil? Christians got a devil. The Muslims got a devil. The Buddhists got a devil. The Catholics got a devil. Even the Satanists got a devil. Everybody got a devil. One devil, a gazillion gods. And all these gods can't whoop that one devil. That's something wrong with your God. And not you personally, people you know. So my God, we don't have no devil. The devil works for us. He carries out our bidding. He do what he told. Now, you must overstand. Because what we're talking about is the ability to awaken through and see through this imaginary crumbling city of illusions. You were never meant to be trapped in the matrix. You were meant to transcend and master and manage the matrix. So something happened because you're supposed to be passing through. We are in the matrix. We're not of the matrix. Somehow you got trapped. Not you personally, but you know. So it is this ability to avoid this institutionalized language, these phrases that are used that keep you trapped inside of the matrix. Because the matrix works only through language, through math, music, and language. So you can't get out the matrix so you cannot use the devil's words to create God's world. So sorry. So most black and brown folk don't understand You can't use the dominant culture system to get out the system, bruh. The system is designed to unalive you. Psychologically first, physically second. Maybe throw a sprinkle in a little financial too. So the average Negro is dead already. Dead man walking. How? Where does the Negro learn the language of the dominant culture? He does not have a true, authentic connection with source code. He's not living the gospel. He's reading it. But the Negro ain't living it. The non-Negro too. So fortunately or unfortunately, my brother, my sister, without this ability to tap into the true hidden, esoteric, red letters, you should be only reading the red letters. Use language that resonates with God. That's numero uno. Mind, will, emotions, imagination, intellect. So Jesus don't speak Cretan. Last I checked. God don't speak Latin, bruh. God don't speak fear. God does not speak doubt. God does not speak anxiety. God does not speak the fruit of the flesh, bruh. You cannot use the language of the devil to create the word of God. Black folks with them. I mean, not your person, you know. Negroes be complaining about everything. We win the lottery and complain. I mean, just the words I know. Maybe bad, I know different folks. My bad. But what are you saying, Brother Will? You have to avoid institutionalized. It's like, folks, remember I worked in the prison system for 20 plus years. I can always tell an inmate because he speaks like an inmate. He uses the language of a man that has been institutionalized. So does the Negro. The non-Negro, some of them too. That is the language of the devil. The inability to awaken, to speak as one who has authority. Nobody asks about your conditions. This is your identity. How do you self-identify, bro? Don't talk to me about the world. Talk to me about heaven. But we're in the world, Doc. I understand, bro. You don't understand, my brother. It's hard out here for a pimp. Absolutely. This is the devil's realm. Of course, you're in this world, but you're not of this world. You stand out like a sore thumb. Everybody's wearing black, and you walking around in green, purple. So, of course, you stick out. Your vibration gives you away. You walk around all happy-go-lucky. Them good old boys trying to unalive you, Negro. Why are you trying to fit into their system? Now, again, at the base core, we can talk about race, but we talk about higher level awareness. This shit is spiritual, bro. But I do live in the real world, though. Everywhere I go, I take my little friend with me. Just in case. You never know. One of them good old boys might think I'm asleep at the wheel. So you might have to remind them. Overstand. That's not the point of the class, though. We're talking spiritual shiznit. But you cannot forget, you live in a physical world. You must keep your head on the swivel, especially now. The ability for you to understand the use of your language creates a resonance. That means to resound. You are sending out the wrong frequency, the wrong wave, the wrong verb, and the wrong vibration. You're saying the right things with your mouth, But your nervous system is sensing the physical awareness of a lack of money in the bank. Your nervous system is sensing the physical awareness of the blood moving slowly through your body, which creating high pressure. You're saying the right things with your mouth, but your nervous system, your central nervous system, your automatic nervous system, your parasympathetic nervous system, the 12 systems in your body is picking up a lack of gnosis. You don't know what to do. It senses you lack wisdom. It's creating a frequency where you think you're saying the right shit with your mouth, but your nervous system is creating the wrong feelings in your body. Unfortunately, for you, in the average Keep-It-On, you get what you feel, because the feel creates what is real. Now, you're saying the right things, but your nervous system, you nervous, bro. You got anxiety. You saying like, man, sure, I ain't scared to ride no horse. But they bring that big ass Clydesdale out there, and you look at the size of that horse. You never rode that horse before, and you like, shit. Okay, I'm gonna get on it, dog. I'm gonna get on it. You're not no thrill seeker. Most of the Keep-It-Ons are not. But you got with some of your Keep-It-On brothers, your non-Keep-It-On brothers, and they like bungee jumping. So you take your black ass up there, and you're gonna bungee jump. So they strap you on there. You go on the bridge, and everybody they say you jump. Now all your Caucasian friends they jump. You ain't Caucasian though. You get all the thrill in the hood. You have no desire to jump your black ass off a bridge with a string tied around your waist. Why? You've done that when you was 5, 6, 7, 8 years old. Now you've done it in a different way, but you got the thrill already. There's no desire to seek it. Well, some folks, they didn't grow up in the hood. They didn't have that stimulation that you had. They didn't experience the thrill, the adrenaline rush. So no, Negro, you ain't no adrenaline junkie. But there's some folk that are. They don't understand why you are afraid to jump off that bridge and experience the joy of free falling. You see, if you don't understand the language, it's in your nervous system. It's not in your tongue. You order with your nervous system. You don't order. We send mantras. We quote the scriptures. We believe in Jesus. We're fasting and we're praying. And all the time, your nervous system is sending out a frequency because you ain't got shit in the bank. Or you went to the doctor and they say you got the heebie-jeebies. Or you apply for a job and you need a bachelor's and you don't even got a diploma. Or you're in a relationship and you come home and your girl is locked up in the bedroom. She tell you to sleep your ass on the sofa. But you know Jesus. You quote scriptures. But how you feeling? That's the difference between that private life I was telling you about and that public life and that secret life. Yeah, that secret life you ain't telling nobody about. That's how you order. You are drawing to you the vibrational equivalent of the secret version of you. Now, everybody see you at church. You pull up in there in your Bentley or your Benz. You pimped out. You got your pearl white boots on, and you look straight off of the hood. Like you just walked right out of Harlem. Oh, you clean, head to toe. Casket sharp. But your nervous system don't. The average Cuban, they can't pick it up. But there's niggas like me, I pick up your chi, bro. Oh, you got everybody else fool, not you personally. People, you know. You got everybody fooled. Everything. Oh man, that's a man of God right there. Praise him. The Negro's a pedophile. Or he a down low brother. A switch hitter. He bat for both teams. But you let that Negro lay hands on you. Oh, Pastor so-and-so, he preached a good word today. Hallelujah. Pastor so-and-so was in the crack house last night. But you don't have the ability, not you personally, because you know, don't have the ability to pick up Pastor so-and-so's chi, his product, his pneuma. That's the spirit realm, bro. You must integrate the spirit realm. The inability to understand guided conversations and meditation leads to creative or lack of creative expressions. The inability to facilitate the spirit realm, not using math, music, or language, that shit's old now. All the stuff that I used to teach, the numerology stuff, is dead, bruh. Not at this level of the game. All AI is out now. Everybody can log online and get gnosis now. Knowledge is dead. You still walk around and talk about knowledge, nigga, well, you're going to be broke. We got to break down spirit. You got to integrate, man. Tell me what you can't see. You can't smell. Forget your five senses, bruh. Use your sixth sense. Holler at your boy. Call me when you can live and monetize your sixth sense. Let me know when you can pick up that person that walked past you and said, yep, that fool's a rapist. And he working in the daycare. Now you go to the daycare. I know that guy or girl that's working in the daycare is working there because that's their food of choice. So can you tell just by looking at the person? Nah, man, I'm not going to order no food from that restaurant. That dude back there spitting in people's food. Can you tell? Can you pick it up? It's amazing to me, like people like, are you serious? This is a fucking den of thieves. Churches are nothing but places where demons meet now. Demons go to church. It's just a cluster, like a family reunion of the demonic realm. They all sitting up in there, casket sharp, quoting scriptures, full of demons. Nobody got peace. Everybody's running an angle in a game. Can you tell wheat from tare, bruh? The inability for people to walk in the spirit realm and dissect, because it requires a deeper engagement of authentic and organic spiritual connection with the frequency, wave, verb, or vibration outside of this realm. This is the new curriculum. The ability to operate and vibrate in ancestral remembrance and use spiritual technology instead of artificial technology. This is the only way to facilitate. This is the only way to operate. This is the only way to perfect, to connect, to be able to do what Jesus said. What did Jesus say? Peace be unto you. Not the peace that the world gives, but my peace I give unto you. That peace that passes all understanding. Without that, you in trouble. The average that keep it on has no peace. I talk to people every day. People are stressed out. And people don't like the fact that I have way more problems than them. People start telling me their problems, and then I start telling them my problems. And they're like, oh, damn, shit, bro. I didn't know, dog. So you mean, oh, man, I had no idea, brother, damn. Oh, my bad. Well, shit, here you go. Let me give you some money. Then the next thing is, well damn, well, how you ain't stressed out? How you still operating? You see, my brothers, you see, my sisters, spiral or spiritual awakening is just like it says in the Gospel of Thomas. Empowerment is the result of activating your spiritual gifts and your inner knowing or your intuition. He who finds, that means you got to be looking for it. You got to look for the interpretations. Shall not taste death. Death, where is your sting? Grave, where is your victory? Death has no sting, and the grave has no victory. Why? You can see that the forest is full of trees, meaning what the devil's selling, you ain't buying. You can see that this is an illusion. So no, you detach all of the stuff, as I said in part one, that I used to chase. It had value. Women and cars and houses, food and disease, titles. That is garbage. Cultivating peace with my Creator is numero uno. And other frequencies, waves, and vibrations, regardless of color, is number two. And if you look at what Jesus said when they asked him, can you sum it up? Love the Lord your God, or your heart, with all your soul, with all your. And then second, just like the first, love your neighbor as yourself. That, when you get to that level, call me, man. We can hang out. How many Negroes you know at that level? How many Negroes do you know? Non-Negroes too. That love God. But what is God? What Jesus said, he who knows himself knows God. That's another teaching, I guess. Why did he teach us that? I don't know why. The kingdom of God is within. You got this treasure, and it is within. Jesus said, anybody who do not believe that I came in the flesh is not of God. That word in means eternal. Internal, not eternal, internal. Interior. So you got to decode. Most folk cannot find the interpretations of these sayings. They have religion. Therefore, they have no peace. As we said in part one, S-I-N-E is S-I-N-E. Or I'm sorry, S-I-N is S-I-N-E. So a sine wave is something that goes up and down. Like most Negroes' thoughts and feelings. You're happy today and sad tomorrow. Emotionally wrecked. Stressed the fuck out. That's sin. Does God have stress? Is God worried? Because what does God pray for? Whatever, tell me what God prays for. Whatever God prays for, I'm going to pray for that too. If God is all knowing, all power, all present, all love, all simple, what does he, she, it lack? So he, she have to seek, have to go looking for it. The Bible says that God has given you everything that you need for life and godliness. So why are you still looking? Why are you still searching? I mean, not you personally, people you know. Why do you don't wake up in the morning happy as beep, giving God thanks, prayer and thanksgiving? Let your request be made known. What's my request? That everybody else come into the knowledge. That's the only request I got. My only prayer, and I don't pray, but if I was to pray, it would be praying for you to get there on the level where there is no devil. Cultivate peace, nurture your inner flame, and pass on the light. That's the purpose of this class, this course, this book. That's what everything I'm doing, bro. Doc, what are you doing today? What are you doing tomorrow? What are you doing next week? Cultivating peace, homie. Anything that fucks up my peace gotta go. Wife, kids, dog, monkey, squirrel, neighbor, rabbit. I don't give a fuck up my peace, you gotta go, homie. I mean, not you personally, but you know. Next, anything that interferes with and gets in between me and my inner flame. That's the ruach and the pneuma, bruh. See, I have this treasure. I don't know if you got the treasure. Some of y'all ain't got the treasure. Some of y'all got the wrong treasure. I mean, not you personally, but people that we all know. The ruach and the pneuma, the indwelling. Jesus said, I got to go, but I'm going to leave you with the comforter. Some of y'all ain't got the comforter. Y'all got no comfort. Bad shit happens. I know. Then the comforter comes in and comforts you. And then it says, hey, bruh, you've been young. Now you're old. Never seen the righteous forsaken. Hey, you have the ability to trample on snakes and scorpions and all power. Hey, you can walk through the valley of shadow and death, and the comforter brings to your remembrance. At least that's what she hit for me. It tells me, Doc, fuck out, bro. Everything is going to be all right. Not next week. Now, cultivate peace. Nurture your inner God, your inner self, the ruach and the pneuma. Number 3, pass that shit off. Pass on the light, bro. How? Just show up. Your presence should speak volumes. When you go, everywhere you go, people should get pissed off. Why? Because they don't like the fact that you are not responding to the external stimulation. Everywhere I go, people tell me the same thing. People don't like because they start talking about the Republicans or the Democrats or the Cowboys. They traded Michael Parsons. I don't give a. They ain't paying me to watch. Or what's going on with Russia and Ukraine. I'm not Russian and I'm not Ukrainian. So me, what do I mean, Doc? That mean they ain't got shit to do with me. Yeah, my brother, but it's wrong. Well, okay. A lot of things wrong. I got the snot beat out of me when I was a kid, and I was forced to go without food. That shit was wrong. Anybody come to my rescue? What's the point? Bad things happen to good people. So what do? Cultivate peace. Nurture your inner flame. Pass on the light. Walk as one having authority. That's why you pass on the light. Meaning, change your identity to that of what I'm going to be breaking down in this class, because for whatever reasons, it's not taught. Everybody teaches you to follow Jesus. I don't know nobody, except me, teaching you to be Jesus. Now, I ain't saying not to follow him too. I ain't saying not to worship him too. I'm saying after you worship him, after you follow him, be him. Imitate. That's what it says in the Bible. Be ye imitators of God. That means whatever God do, Negro, you should do the same mother thing, whatever that is. Oh, we're going to break it down. Man, I love y'all. Make sure y'all join me. You already know what to do. Check out the website, masterteacher30.com. This class is, I think we did 297. We'll break it down to 197. We'll probably pop it off tomorrow. Man, I love y'all. And then y'all can do about it. We see y'all mañana. God bless.